Hi guys and welcome back. So today I have something very exciting to talk about, and that is a new book that has been released by Dennis E. Taylor. Dennis E. Taylor is one of my absolute favorite science fiction authors. He is of course the author of the highly acclaimed series, the Bobbyverse series, which I love very much and have a lot of reviews up on this channel already that you can look at. But yeah, today we want to talk about this new release, Flybot by Dennis E. Taylor, which was just released a week ago or so. I finished it, I have my thoughts on it, and I want to talk about it. So first I want to say I'm a little bit torn about this book, and we are going into the details because one of the issues that I noticed with Dennis E. Taylor books is that I very much like the whole Bobbyverse series, but some of his other books, like for example the standalone Roadkill, or also the series, what is it called, Quantum Earth Saga, they feel a little bit flat to me. I still enjoyed reading them, I enjoyed listening to them, but I think one of the main issues that these books have is that they lack in character development. And many of the characters in these books, they feel very similar, and I find that a little bit of an issue with Dennis E. Taylor's stories when it's not the Bobbyverse. And it's very weird because in the Bobbyverse series, he has been able to create distinctive characters and personalities all based on one original character. So, you know, they strained off from each other and they have these different characters and they feel very distinctive. But in his books, where they're actually different people and different characters, like Roadkill and now with Flybot, I feel like all of the guys have the same personality, and all of the girls, all of the women have the same personality as well. And for me, it's very hard to differentiate between who is who, and, you know, kind of just feel out the different personalities and who I like, who I dislike. So that's something that I immediately found happening in Flybot as well, and that just found it very difficult for me to really enjoy the book and the story. So I'm really torn about this book. There's some areas, there's some things that I really liked about this story and book, but there's other things, as I just mentioned, that I found just kind of disappointing. So yeah, you know, let's talk about it. Let's get into the book. So first of all, basically, what is Flybot about? So Flybot tells the story of physicist Philip Murray, who is drawn into a hunt and chase kind of situation with a rogue AGI, artificial general intelligence. So he's kind of drawn into this weird crime where some criminals, they built an AGI, a general intelligence, artificial general intelligence. They sold it on the black market, and now this AI and the kind of criminals behind it, they start creating a little bit of an issue in the world. There's a lot of attacks happening that are very difficult to explain, and Philip Murray kind of gets thrown into that situation step by step, and he finds himself just going down deeper and deeper into this situation and just not being able to draw himself back out of it again. So he just ends up in this weird hunt and chase situation where he doesn't know whom to trust, where he doesn't know why these attacks are happening, who is causing these attacks. And at the same time, he is also working in his laboratory on very secretive and advanced technology for astronaut mining, basically. And these all kind of comes together then. And what is then interesting is that he kind of gets contacted by this artificial intelligence. They kind of start a relationship over the phone, as in exchanging information. They are learning from each other. Philip tries to find out what the motivation of the AI is, if he, you know, comes in peace or not, and what the plan of this artificial intelligence is, basically. While at the same time, the AI tries to understand humanity and what kind of drives humanity and their decision more through this discussion and the phone conversations with Philip. So they have these conversations that are very, very interesting. So that's one part of the book I absolutely enjoyed, because there's a lot of like scientific talk in there, and it feels like the science is very real in there, which is an absolute strength of Dennis E. Taylor. We know about that from his other books. What I also enjoy probably of the book is, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the surprise ending and the twist at the end is very enjoyable. And there are some hints during the book and during the story, but it's not clear at all. And there is quite a big of a twist at the end of the story, which I did enjoy, because up until that point, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, I found the story to be very slow and flat. So overall, what I probably most enjoyed about the book was the world building of Dennis E. Taylor. So this is set in a near future, basically, where technology is a little bit more advanced than what we have now, but it's not that far advanced as where you would think, oh, this is impossible, because these are all things that we basically start seeing happening now. So for example, robo taxis are daily situation there now. So people are not usually allowed to drive manually by themselves anymore. Everything is controlled by robots in taxis and in cars. Also, like the smart home is just very much further advanced. Like the home, basically the home computer handles everything around your house, and kind of your planning and your schedule and everything. So this is advanced in technology, but it's still to a point where it feels very real and feels very realistic. And he explains it so well that I really enjoyed that part of the world building that he's doing, in addition with the kind of space science that goes with Philip's research into these asteroid mining project, basically. So I absolutely enjoyed that part. Another thing, as a big Bobbyverse fan, I like that there are a few subtle hints that are being dropped around the Bobbyverse. So, for example, when Philip and the AGI have their first conversation, and Philip asks him what he should call him, and then it's like, well, should I call you Bob? So that's a nice hint at the Bobbyverse, I think. But I don't think they're like set in the same universe. Would be interesting to find out, though. Maybe they are somehow interconnected in the future. Who knows? At the moment, I guess it's a standalone book, Flybot. Yeah, but unfortunately, this basically sums up what I enjoyed about the book. And there's quite a few parts in here that I did not really enjoy. So one thing that I touched upon before in the intro a little bit is the main issue, is character development. So there's so many characters in here, you know, police, scientists, the bad guys. The only people that feel very distinct are basically is Frank the AGI himself, and then maybe Philip, but even Philip feels very similar to all the other male characters in the book, basically. So for me, Dennis E. Taylor, he really needs to start developing more on his characters in these books. I don't know why he's having a hard time with it, because in the Bobbyverse he's doing so great with it, but all the other books I've read from him, character development is always the weakest point of his books. Yeah, everybody feels the same. That's my note that I have here. So and then the story itself, it felt a little bit flat in the middle, like not a lot of it is happening. So they have this kind of period where they want to show that the AI is going rogue, or where there's this mystery about all these attacks that are happening and people are dying from very mysterious cases, and then Philip is going there kind of as a support to the police, and trying to find out what is going on from a science point of view. Now, all these attacks, there's probably like 6 or 7 of them, and they all feel very similar, except for the case that it's just a different way of people passing away, kind of like Final Destination style. But the problem is, after the first two, they don't really add to the mystery anymore. There's just, oh, we got another case, we got another case, we got another case, and they don't advance the story in any way. So it feels very slow and flat there in the middle. Also, if we look at the whole story, basically, we have these attacks, we have this situation with the AGI, we have the kind of development and the science development of Philip, and then we have the story of Detective Han, of the police officer, and it feels very messy sometimes. So even me trying to explain it now, the book feels very messy, and it's very difficult sometimes to understand how all these storylines kind of connect into each other, even with them trying. Look, he is in the end with the twist, and he's adding some explanations and kind of bring the story together. But while you're reading the book, it feels very messy and it's difficult to follow the story. So that was it for me. Yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Flybot. So I guess in summary, I can say, I mean, it's a very interesting premise. I love these stories with like a rogue AI and these kind of near future possibilities that I don't find are that unrealistic of a threat. So I find that very interesting. My main issue is with the messy storyline and the underdeveloped characters. I also wonder if Dennis E. Taylor, if this is going to be a standalone thing, or if he is, you know, kind of developing that into a series as well, like he did with some of the other books, or even tying it into some of the other universes that he created. So that will be interesting to see. And one thing that I need to mention, of course, is if you are reading Dennis E. Taylor book, do yourself the favor and also download the audiobook, which is always read by Ray Porter, his books. And Ray Porter just probably has, in my opinion, the best voice on Audible. And I just absolutely love listening to him. So that can even turn like a mediocre story for me, can turn into a great book if I'm listening to Ray Porter. Yeah. But yeah, these are my thoughts on Flybot. Unfortunately, I think I rated it as a 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. So I'm a little bit underwhelmed and a little bit, because I was really looking forward to this book when I saw that it will be published soon, and after finishing it, I'm a little bit disappointed, a little bit underwhelmed. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. But I guess it's not a Bobbyverse book, so what can you hope for? But anyway, yeah, what are your thoughts on Flybot or on Dennis E. Taylor, any of his other writings? Let me know about it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye guys. Bye bye.